The Twisted and the Twilight release is just around the corner on December 3rd, and the campaign embargo has lifted today. So we're going to talk about Naestra and Arahan, the Twilight sisters, and their campaign. This is not going to be a guide video. I'm not going to tell you every little bit about how to start out in these as these characters. Instead, I'm going to quickly go through in a spoiler-free turn 1 scenario. We're not going to go past turn 1 to talk a little bit about the campaign and whether or not this campaign is right for you. I'm going to talk about some of the aspects of it and what kind of campaign it lends itself to. Or is it more of a defensive campaign? Is it more of a build your own adventure? Or is it something along the lines where you're defending and holding out against a unlimited horde of Skaven, kind of like it is for Gorok? So if you were hoping for a guide, there are plenty of other channels that do very detailed guides on this, but today we're just going to be talking about, is the Twilight Sisters campaign for you? If you are looking to get information on Throth the Unclean, that'll be out tomorrow, and then Dryka will be the day after that, so you'll be seeing these across the channel across the next 3 days. And as a quick upfront note, if you have not yet purchased the DLC, you can head on over to my Nexus storefront linked in the description and the pinned comment, which will allow you to purchase the DLC through my storefront. Nexus has a partnership with Creative Assembly, and they basically get the keys directly from them, and then they give you a Steam key that you can place within Steam to get going. You'll get that same 10% discount that you got on Steam, but you can just help support the channel. But let's get started on, is this campaign right for you for the Twilight Sisters? Here we are in the campaign now for the Twilight Sisters. You do start on Gwendolor, the actual Great Eagle, and with Sethan Har as your progression up from there. So taking a look at the map, we are in the western portions of the map. All the way here, even west of Nagaroth itself, kind of smack dab in the middle of everything for the most part on the northern continent. So it's a very interesting starting location in the Witchwood. Now, since this is the Eye of Vortex campaign, we will quickly talk about the Mortal Empires at the end, and you can find any navigation you might need in the timeline to jump to that chapter if you so wish. But you have some other locations you can go to in Gain Vale, the Sacred Pools, and then Orion's Camp. Those are our locations for the Deep Roots. So what we get with the Sisters of Twilight are some interesting mechanics. If I go ahead and press this and I click how they play, we get, first off, the Forge of Daith. This is the father of these of the Twilight Sisters, or quote unquote father. Now, when we look at the Forge of Daith, we can see that it is idle. And if we hover over here, it says number of turns until next Forge of Daith gift. Master Smith, Lord Daith, will periodically gift you special equipment. Once all items of a given type have been gifted, Daith will instead offer to improve your army's war gear to provide them with small bonuses. So what this means is, anytime you go into combat, in fact, we'll bring this back up. You go into combat, this kind of stokes the flames of the Forge of Daith, and he will make an item for you. Now, if I click on the sisters real quick, God, they're just so hot and heavy. You get one of these options: an armor, a weapon, a talisman, or an enchanted item that you can then obviously place in these locations. And after you start off with just a green version of them, but he will offer to upgrade them in one of 2 ways. You'll either get a static upgrade, which will just say, let's say for the weapon, he'll give you a weapon that gives you 5 melee attack and 5 weapon strength, or and then that is considered taking the route of Naestra. Or you can take the route of Arahan and double the stats of your weapon up to 10% weapon strength and 10 melee attack, but it only lasts for 5 turns. So you basically take the small benefit for 5 turns and it will downgrade back to the previous version, or you can take the more static permanent bonus if you want to take the steadier, more secure route, I guess you could say. So that kind of gives you an idea of how Forge of Daith works, but it is a really cool mechanic because it evolves as you play the game and as you do more rituals of healing. So it's a really, really, really cool ability. As for the faction itself, the Mage Queen's Authority is the cool faction effect we get. So that's the Forge of Daith itself, the craft and upgrade unique weapons, armor, and items offered by the Master Smith, Lord Daith. Now, what's cool about that is you will be at no short of items and weapons and armor in the Heralds of Ariel, the Twilight Sisters campaign, which I find really cool because you do have the office, which we're going to go over in just a second here, which needs lords. So you can actually equip these lords because the forge exists. So I like that a lot about the Forge of Daith. It's one of the things I also like about the Tomb Kings or the dwarfs is that ability to generate magic items, because I always find it tricky to get a good amount of magic items for my heroes and my special combat lords. This is a cool way to grab that. Now, as far as climates, all climates are suitable for you, which is cool, and it plays into the way the Wood Elves are about to be played with some other mechanics we're going to talk about. The Mage Queen's Authority also gives us an increase to our ammunition and the ability volley of Kurnos for all Hawk Rider units. And that thing is pretty beastly. It does a lot of damage and it will do a ton of AP damage. But let's look at the sisters themselves before we jump into some of the other mechanics, because we also get Dusk and Dawn, and this plays into what we just talked about. Minus 15% upkeep for missile units, 10 melee attack, and 15% charge bonus for your flying units. You do start off with some Hawk Riders, so you can see that the Sisters of Twilight wants you to play a game that is very missile heavy, especially Hawk Riders included. Now let's jump over to the skills. And you can see that we have our typical kind of gamut of skills here between all of the red and the blue line, but our yellow line is pretty unique. Now, the yellow line gives us bow and blade to start off with weapon and missile strength, and then at the end, Prey of Anathrama. Now, what I like about their yellow line is that it's factored into 2s rather than 3s. I always kind of felt awkward where it would say, you need 4 points to progress. And I would always put 3 into 1 and 1 or the other, or 2 and 2, and I always had that third blip I wanted to fill out, but I'd have to come back later. It always upset me. So now I can bop 2 points into each one of these and get the benefits of him without having like a third point just kind of hanging out there. So I like that a lot. It means that I can push over into Prey of Anathrama very easily too. So take a look at this. This now takes 5 skill points in the previous group. So my previous point doesn't make any sense because I thought this was 4, but it is 5. So you can still go Resilient to get that total of 10% physical resistance, and then Always Ready, which will give you a nice 20% ammunition and reload time reduction, and then maybe get Impenetrable Bark for armor or Endurance of the Oak for some health before you get Prey of Anathrama, which is so good at locking someone down and really making it so they can be peppered by your missile units. Now, the very top line, before we get into the unique yellow line there, we get some other stuff. We get Seath and Har as a mount at 12. Challenge to Daith, which is turn time -2 between each of Daith's gifts received. And the Forge of Daith items reforge duration is +2 turns. So what that means is, remember how I said you can choose between a permanent upgrade or you can reforge it and you get a stronger upgrade, but it's only got last 5 turns? This will increase that by 2. Rain of Spines will reload time reduction by 12%. Beat of the Hunter, which we're used to now. Howl of the Forest, which will increase melee attack, which again we've seen before. And then we get these. Actually, these 3 will lock each other out. So at 6, at rank 6, you can choose one of these 3. So melee attack bonus, Sight Beyond Sight, which increases your base missile damage by 15%, or Possessed by the Trickster God, 10 melee defense. I went with Sight Beyond Sight in my playthrough, but each one of these has their own application depending upon how you want to play your character. Now, of course, if you're playing the Sisters of Twilight, I would definitely go with the Wings of the Forest to try and get that bonus to your Hawk Riders, getting that total reload time, charge bonus, and weapon strength bonus. That'll couple with the ones you already get is going to be pretty juicy. It'll also help out with Great Eagle and Forest Dragon units as well. Well, let's look at their unique yellow line. They have Inseverable, which is going to help with ward save and wound recovery time. The Unseverable, what? Inseverable. Inseverable is that ability's name. The Queen's Emissaries, giving public order, growth, and diplomatic relations with all 3 of the elf factions, which is awesome. Naestra's Vigilance, which will help with campaign movement. Coupling this right down here with Ever-Reaching Tendrils, that's 20% campaign movement. Line of sight bonus of 15%. Casualty replenishment rate plus 10%. And then your passive ability of Guardian, so giving you that 15% physical resist, which will really help you out when you're trying to kind of hold the line across your other casters, or maybe even your Glade Captains. Arahan's Reckoning will give us a 1 additional forest health for winning battles in magical forests or their Heathlands, which we'll talk about in a second. Ambush success chance, and then income from raising settlements and post-battle loot. This is one of those lords. The Wood Elves in general are lords characters that really benefit off of the wonders of the forest, because you're going to be raising so many settlements. You might as well increase that income. You might as well get that post-battle loot bonus. This will couple with that to give you a nice total 25% raising settlement income bonus. Then Masters of the Ares will further help your flying units, giving them a 10% physical resist, reducing their upkeep yet again by 10%, coupled with the 15% that they get will be 25% for your Hawk Riders. Then you get Vanguard deployment for Great Eagles and Forest Dragons, and then also the Sisters themselves will get Vanguard. Lastly, we get Otherworldly of Spirit. 5% ward save for the entire army, and ability number of uses for the Volley of Kurnos gets 1, and you also get 1 more Dragon Breath attack, which is great when you get Seath and Har. So, that covers all of our kind of unique abilities about the Sisters of Twilight themselves, but we also have some unique mechanics with this campaign. So if I go ahead and press this button with the Deep Roots, we can see the Deep Roots allows us to travel all over the map. Now, something we didn't talk about in our actual Wood Elf rework is the way that the Deep Root system is going to help you with the other Wood Elf mechanic of Confederation. In the campaign, I think it's around turn like 10 or 15, you'll get a quest. Go and kill an army in Orion's camp. It's not go kill the faction leader. It's not go take out Orion's camp. It's just kill an army. That's it. And by doing so, you can then confederate Orion's camp. So Confederation is now a very big part of the Wood Elves and trying to band everyone together. It's a very cool streamline mechanic, and I like it a lot because I really dig the Deep Roots mechanic. And if you didn't watch the rework video, I'll quickly go over it here for you. So you can go to anywhere on the map as long as your character, let's jump back to the Sisters, is within the border of your magical forest. Your magical forest will allow you to press Deep Roots. I said Deep Woods earlier, but I meant Deep Roots. And you can then warp to any one of these locations on the map. Once you do so, you have a 10-turn recycle that you have to wait for. This button will activate, and you press it, and you can jump over there immediately. So this allows you to confederate across the map, and that is the big thing about the Wood Elves. They're going to be a force that is all over the place. They're not going to be isolated anymore. I think that's really cool, because as you can see, all this land is terrible, right? It's just it doesn't even tell me the type of, it doesn't tell me the type of land it is, because everything's suitable for me. But okay, don't yell, you cheerleaders. Part of the Deep Roots mechanic is also the Heathlands mechanic. So when I click the Deep Roots button, I see a number here, which is our forest health. And then I see a number of little pies up here, I don't know, little slabs. And these are the respective health of each individual magical forest. And as you maximize the forest health, you'll get stacking benefits. The Witchwood here will grant research rate, upkeep, and then cooldown for Deep Root teleportation reduction, but it also has a depreciation of forest health. So you have to keep maintaining that forest health. Sacred Pools will give us casualty replenishment, growth, and global recruitment capacity. And then forest health plus 4 turn in the Witchwood. And then Orion's Camp will do the same thing with the health and global recruitment capacity, but it'll also increase our unit experience on all armies and campaign movement range for 20% for all armies. Remember when I said we get that 20% on Naestra and Arahan? Getting Orion's Camp will give her the total of 40% campaign movement. Gain Veil will give us 4 to Hero and Lord recruitment rank and income from all buildings at 12%, and then the other 2 bonuses that we looked at. Now, when you do your first Ritual of Rebirth, which is this one right here, you have to get everything all the way up. I think, here, we'll do this one. Oh, okay, it requires further healing before the, okay, I thought it would at least show us the button. Oh, there we go. Once you get to 300 health, you can do your first Ritual of Rebirth, which allows you to build the Temple of Anathrama in this location, which is its unique landmark building. Starts with level 2, and then it can go up here to level 3. This will give us a further Lord and Hero recruitment rank of +3 for lore of beast casters, which is awesome. Also enables awakened forest attrition, local armies, and then immune to mountain and snow attrition with missile strength plus 10% for all missile units in all armies as well. So you can see it's very favorable. Now, the biggest part about this is that once you do your first ritual, you can then access Ariel and you can bring her into your army and the Mage Queen will come to life. Now, this does, of course, prompt Throth the Unclean, because that is the objective for his campaign, but that's not his video, that's tomorrow. But I really like the Deep Roots mechanic. I think it is really cool. It brings the Wood Elves all over the map. And you increase your forest health by securing your Heathlands. You can hover over this icon and it'll show you how you're getting forest health from what locations you need to acquire, and that'll help increase your forest health. Now, your forest health is increased when you take out these locations. If you took a look at my Wood Elf rework video, I showed the menus for these, but I'll just quickly paraphrase this. So basically, if you control it, it'll give you +1. If you ally with the faction, defensive or military, it'll be +1. If there's nothing, if there's nothing there, like take the ancient city of Quintex, this is just a ruin, it's going to be obviously 0. And when you actually take over a location, you have some options. You can occupy it, in which case you'll get forest health immediately and then per turn, and you can build 1 building. It's just like we saw before with the Wood Elves, but those buildings are a little bit more fleshed out. Or you can raise it to the ground, get immediate forest health of 5, and you get +1 per turn. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. If you're doing this campaign, I'd recommend securing the province around your magical forest just to act as insulation and defense, because you will be dealing with both chaos invasions on the Mortal Empires map and random Wood Elf, what are these called? Forest invasions. Right now they're not on the map, but you'll see a little glowing Wood Elf symbol, and that will denote that there's something trying to invade your realm. So you have to send an army there to intercept it, or let it pop and let it attack you. So it just depends on how you want to play. The last thing I want to cover real quick are the new offices. Every single lord for the Wood Elves gets a different set of offices. It's the Court of the Mage Queen for the Sisters of Twilight, and it basically is a different character. It doesn't need to be a caster too. You see Highweaver doesn't need to be a caster, but they benefit the most as being a caster because it gives the character title Highweaver, miscast base chance -25%, ward save plus 10% for the entire army, and Winds of Magic cost -2 for Apotheosis, a high mage spell. Then passive this is the Tree Singer of Aisha. Winds of Magic cost -3 for Awakened Wood, passive ability Regeneration for Dryads, Treekins, and Treeman units. So you can see that these have very specific use cases. You want to fill them out as you need, as you see fit. And we'll take a look at the one for the Herald of Aisha as we get over there to the Sisters of Twilight. But I just want to quickly hover over these so you can see them. Feel free to pause and jump back if you so wish. Last one is Queen's Champion. And then we have the Heralds of Aisha themselves. I guess I can't. Okay, the Lord Recruitment rank +3 for Spellweavers. So it makes kind of filling these slots a little bit easier because you're going to get stronger Spellweavers coming out with the Heralds of Aisha. So, in short, what's there to say about this campaign? What kind of campaign is this? I truly feel if you want to play a campaign that is different and allows you to go anywhere on the map in a suitable climate for you, this is the one for you because you're not pigeonholed into a certain specific empire. You can grow your Wood Elf empire in any location you so see fit because, again, everything's suitable. It's one of the only characters that is like that. Very few have that ability. And you're going to be dealing with a lot of fun stuff relegated to the world roots and Throth the Unclean and the Skaven that I don't want to really ruin for you. And if you have always been, if you've played your campaigns and you've always wanted to have more magic items at your disposal, this is going to be the campaign for you because you're going to have access to more Forge of Daith, or Forge of Daith, which is going to give you more magic items. So if you want to play a campaign heavily focused on the Hawk Riders and missile units, then this is going to be the Wood Elf campaign for you. And if you want to play a campaign that is really far-flung across all corners of the map, both Mortal Empires and Vortex, then this is going to be the campaign for you. Let's quickly jump over to Mortal Empires just to show off where it is on the map and give you a frame of reference compared to the Eye of Vortex. So here we are on the Mortal Empires map, and just to really quickly give you a frame of reference of where we start, we're right here next to the Black Spine Mountains where DJ Kotep starts. So just to, again, give you a bit of a frame of reference here, the Witchwood's far off to the left with the Oak of Ages here. No matter who you start as the Wood Elves, you will start with the Oak of Ages. I'm not sure what happens if you do a co-op campaign and both people play as the Wood Elves. I have to test that. I assume it's whoever is quote-unquote player one. I'm not really sure. But you can see all of across the map here, and your deep roots are going to allow you to just warp wherever, and that's when that suitability is really going to come in, because you can go up to Lower Lorne Forest and Griffinwood. You can go over to the Forest of Gloom, and then all the way down to Orion's Camp. It just depends on how you want to play this campaign, and that's one of the things I really enjoy about this one, is how you're going to want to progress through it. But that brings our video here to a close, so hopefully you have a better idea of what kind of campaign the Sisters of Twilight is. If this is the campaign for you, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Maybe you're more excited about Throth the Unclean, or the eventual discussion about Dryka on Friday. And we will be streaming Dryka on the channel on Friday, as well as having this same style of video for her. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one, and take care.